Okay, I'm back, and I decided to go with this configuration. It's the same amount of revenue, whether I'm going here to here or there to there, except I get a whistle stop on this one, and I also have a track point to lay. And so that extra whistle stop will give me more money. So I'm going to go with that, and it doesn't hurt B that awful much. B is a company that gets to do track upgrades for a single point. Instead of having to pay 2 tile points, they can do it for just 1. And so B will be able to break out of this pretty easily. So anyways, that's going to be my decision. And so that ends operating round 1 with me going back on my stock. And so we go to operating round 2. So the first thing you do in operating rounds is your privates collect their money. So you get to collect your income, basically, from your private companies. And this is a great time to take stock of every player and what their strategy is and how well it's going. So we're going to start with me. And I collect $25 plus $15, so that's going to be 40 bucks. So I'm just going to reach over with one hand and collect 40 bucks. So I'm going to get 40 bucks to my personal cash. And it's probably going to behoove me to start separating this out. So I will do that now. Okay, so it's sorted there. And my personal cash is on the board. That's fine. This is a very unused area of the game. So you can always cover this up and you'll usually be okay. So a couple of things to point out. This Star Harbor is going to be very useful for us for doing shipping routes. I haven't decided where I want to use it. We do have an example where our Scotland, we have a port here from this city that is over here in this sea zone, and it's only one sea zone, it's a 2 sea zone hop to get to New York. That is a very powerful thing, and we may use it there. But I have not made my decision yet. And so we don't have to make the decision yet because New York is not available until we get to green phase track. So we are still on yellow. Okay, so the other thing is, just a reminder, we have this company, and these 4 tokens let us go through mountains for free. So even though this costs us, we can go through mountains for free. So one of the things I'm looking at is, and I apologize, my voice is still fluctuating in and out. We can go through here for free, so I can connect over. That is not a huge priority, but it's definitely an option for us. The bigger priority is we're starting to get track from Berlin that goes through here, and you'll notice we're going through Austria-Hungary, and then we're going to hit a bunch of mountains. And so I can go through 1, 2, 3 mountains and get through. And that is an important thing for us. So if we can bust through those mountains, I can do all that for free with my company. And there will be some wetlands we also have to pay for. And then we have a free track all the way in to Constantinople. Another one is we can go through mountains here, but there's no getting around these wetlands unless we try to go all the way over here. So you can go here and then 1, 2, 3. But see, there's a lot more mountains. So there's not really an easy way through. You're going to go through a bunch of mountains and at least one wetland usually to get to Constantinople via land. Russia has it a little bit easier. They can just go through a couple wetlands here. I think they just pay for this one, and look, they already busted through. So it is a little easier to go through Russia. I don't have track rights to lay track in Russia yet, but that's why the Russia strategy is very powerful. So yeah, if my voice keeps going, I may have to quit and just wait to do these videos another day. So anyways, that's our strategy. We are going to be heavily dependent on getting through Austria-Hungary. We're going to take advantage of the fact that we're in Austria-Hungary, and we're going to use our mountain benefit to get through, and we want to get to Constantinople with our companies. And KBS and SB are both poised to take advantage of these tracks. because they're both right here. It doesn't take very much to be able to connect. Remember, miners can't go to Constantinople, so we don't, I mean, you can, but you're not going to get a bonus. So don't worry about miners. Miners are not meant to be that important. The whole point of miners is you use them to make money in the early game, and then you merge them into a major company later. So then that major company gets the special power that the miner had. So what you're going to see me probably do is DSJ up there is going to merge with B, and then this B token will turn into a DSJ token. So now all of a sudden my Sweden company is going to be in Austria-Hungary. And then boom, I'm magically going to have all three of my companies using the same track to go to Constantinople. So that is the one part of our strategy that's very beautiful, is all the investment of laying track is going to benefit every company that I own. And I don't have to I don't have like a company all the way over in Spain who has to figure out his own way to get to Constantinople. So I'm using all three of my companies as synergy. And then B is going to be a good synergy. And then even J, which is up in Russia, will help. And then L seems like it isn't very helpful over there in England, but it's super helpful because we have a ferry that goes across into Sweden and Norway, which is where DSJ is. So that's another option. I may not even need DSJ to go into Austria-Hungary, come to think of it. If DSJ uses L, they'll be in London. And then we can even get into St. Petersburg through J. So there's tons of options. One thing, if you're a new player, you don't want to fall into the trap of, well, SB is in Austria-Hungary, so let's just merge these two because they're near each other. That's not the way you want to think in this game. Sometimes you want to take SB and merge them with L way up here, so that way you have track that goes all the way across the continent. Near the end of the game, you're going to have situations like 7+7 and 8+8 trains, and those trains are going to go all the way from one end of the continent to the other. And you don't want to be isolated in just one country anymore. You want to be global as you can be for a game like this. So from the very start of the game, you have to have that in your mind, is that you need to have a global plan, even though you can't even lay track outside of your current country, okay? So with that being said, that's our strategy. Our companies are decent. KBS is a decent company. Berlin is going to be one of the best paying spots in the game. SB is decent because they have a good start. They start off in a metropolis and in Austria, and that is one of the best starts you can get. So they'll be able to make money early, and they're also going to help us to plow through to Constantinople early. So SB is going to be a very functional company. It may not be the best, but it'll be the functional one. DSJ, in my experience, can be one of the best companies in the game, and it will do its best to compete for that. I think Lord Wellington is doing some things that's going to make his companies the best in the game, and I don't think there's anything I can do to stop that. And so what we need to just understand is this is an 18xx game. This isn't about just my companies. This is about me making personal wealth. So all I have to do is just buy Lord Wellington's stock in his companies, let him run the best company in the game, and then I'm just going to profit off of it. So you don't have to have the best company in the game to win it. And that's Medici's strategy. Okay, so let's go around. I paid my weenies here, and now we're going to move to De Gaulle. De Gaulle has a lot of companies. You can see he has 2 in Spain, he has 2 in France, and then he has 2 miners. So he's running 6 companies right now, and he has 4 major companies or regionals, and we only have 3. So he has a huge advantage in just overall value. And so he needs to just keep maximizing that. And remember, his strategy is he's going to try to do an OE run early, and he's sticking to that strategy. So what you're going to see him do is he's going to be investing in these 2 companies and sort of ignoring the other ones for now. And that is the right strategy for him. He wants these 2 companies to do OE runs. These other ones are going to just support him in doing that. And so you're going to see him start to set the game up to go that way. He does have the ability to skip a town, he's going to wait for the right moment to use that. And then this one is just very handy for laying a token without paying any money. And so he'll wait for the right moment there as well. Okay, so he gets $10, $25. So here's 20, and then here's 5. So he gets paid. Oh, I almost forgot. Sorry, my camera moved. The K company here gets $20. And it gets paid right now during the pay the privates, pay the weenie phase. And just bear with me, I'm just tightening up my camera. Okay. So coming around now, we got Mr. Russia here. His strategy is going very well. I know it doesn't seem that way, but he's got some decent stuff. He screwed up here, and he should have gone major with Lizard. And I know there's a glare, I apologize. But this is, his strategy is he wants to build this up and have track covering all the cities here. And he's well on his way. So he just has to keep doing what he set out to do, and it's not real hard. The one thing we need to do is he has this lumber company, and it has to go in a mountain spot. So he has to find a mountain that he's going to put his lumber company on, and then all the other companies will benefit from it. And it'll probably be one of these. I haven't decided yet. So he gets $20, so we're going to give him 20 bucks. Okay. Now we go to Lord Wellington. He, of course, invested heavy in Great Britain. And he has 2 Great Britain stocks. And then he has one of the premium Germany stocks. These are arguably the 3 best stocks in the game. I think DSJ could, the one we have, is also a good run for the money. But his thing is he has 3 of the best companies in the game, but they're all premium at $90 a share. And he's going to have a real hard time investing in all 3 at the same time. So one of these are going to fall behind. He does have 3 privates, this one being the best of the 3. This one will be very useful, and we'll figure that out later. We don't use this until trains rust. And this one, he's just using to guarantee that he can get through the English Channel. So he doesn't have a lot of things to do other than just keep making his companies rich. So he gets $15. And there we go. So last but not least is Medici. Medici's situation is he really only wanted to own these 2 companies. He now owns 2 more that he didn't want. That doesn't mean he's not going to try to make money off of them, and that's what he'll do. And he actually bought one of the companies he didn't want. He actually bought an extra share. Now, the reason he did that was because it was cheap. And he was out of money, and he had at least $60 left. So it wasn't enough to buy one of his 2 premium companies, but he had enough to buy. So don't think that it's because he really loves this company. It was mostly because it's better to buy a share of something than nothing at all. So that was what he did. And his thing that he regrets is he wanted to own more shares of this. He, in fact, wanted to own 100% of both companies. And here you can see he owns 75% of this one and only 50% of that one. He's going to fix that very soon. And then these companies are going to help him. And you may see him pull the trick where he's going to buy a train from one of these companies and move it over to help his premium companies to become more successful. So I have to really think about that decision because you got to do it at the right moment. And I don't know if this is the right moment, but it probably is. So his companies, these 2 only give him money, $5 each. And in this Barclay one, he hasn't used yet. He will probably use it when these go major. That's the perfect time to use it because he can make these worth more money instantly when he does that. And then, of course, he has 2 miners. Their sole purpose is to make him more money as well. So he's getting 20 bucks. And I'm just reaching over with one hand here to try to get 20 bucks. And I'm having a hard time. All right, here we go. $10, $20. So that's Medici's money. He doesn't have an awful lot, but he will soon. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start operating round 2, and you're going to see the companies actually start to make money. And this is really how the game's going to look from here on out. what you have been watching through all of these hours of videos is just sort of like, it's almost like a phase one of a game. And now we're in the phase that really is going to, you're going to see happen over and over again. And because we're actually going to be making money. So let's start. We start with the regionals first. So this is a really cool system because when they took their turn, we moved it down. And now for operating round 2, when they take their turn, it goes back up. So the first thing we have to do is C gets to decide, are they going to go first, last, or middle? And C is going to go last. So we're going to put a C token over here in the last spot. And then this C token, we're going to just move up to show that he's not going to take a turn when we get to his spot. He's going to go last. I don't think it's going to make a difference, but it is the right choice. What he's hoping for is he's hoping somebody will buy a green train. And if they buy a green train, then we can start laying green track. I don't think that's going to happen, but he's going to hold out for the possibility that that will happen. So Lizard is up, very first train, and that is the Russian company. So let's go over and check out Lizard. So Lizard is right here. And we want to, so he's in a pickle. He needs to connect to a city to make some money. So he's going to be laying track that he really doesn't care about. But he wants to get maximum money for this turn. So he's going to do this. And you might be thinking, well, why wouldn't you want to connect to this city? Remember, this is a crappy city, and we want to avoid those. So he wants to use this track here and get somewhere else and buy a token there. Right now, he's on a crappy city, and he's running to a crappy city. So he's actually going to make the least amount of money from all the companies in the game. So he's in a very disadvantaged position. But he laid his track, 3 points worth, and now he's going to run. And everybody has the same exact train. It's a 2 + 2. And so remember, this means 2 cities plus 2 whistle stops. I can't go to a third city, but I can go through as many whistle stops as I want. Okay, that's the rules for this game. So, city 1, city 2, and then 2 whistle stops. And remember, one of the 2 cities has to have a token. So I can't just come over here and say, oh, I'm going to run over here. I can't do that. It has to go through one of my tokens. So city 1, city 2. Now, you might be wondering, well, what if you own 2 trains? The rule is if my first train is using this track, the second train has to use different track. I can't use the same track for 2 different trains. So even if I owned a second train right now, Lizard would not be able to operate it. It has nowhere to go. So right now, having just 1 train is perfect. And so he's going to get $20, $40, $60. Okay? So let's go over to Lizard's board. This is where the game's going to slow down a bit, even more. So we have the Lizard board here. And the thing we have to look at is, I'm going to maybe go over here. Sorry, I'm moving around the camera here. So, Mr. Twarkowski has a 20% ownership in the company. I'm sorry, he has a 50% ownership in the company because it's not a major. And then the company has 2 shares at 25% each. So the company has 50%. So I said it was what? It was $20, $40, $60. I don't need my calculator yet, but this is a long game. And if you do all the math in your head, you're going to screw up. But anyways, at $60, it's a real easy math. So we're going to grab $30, and that goes to his personal money. Okay, so $30 goes there, and then $30 goes to the company. Lizard is going to get $30. And so that's how a regional operates. It does not move on the stock board because it's a regional. There is no public stock price. But right now, since it's 50% ownership, 50% of the money goes to his personal money. So he got a little richer. And that's Lizard's turn. Okay, so next up is SFAI, which is the Italian company. So that's going to be Mr. Medici. And I'm pretty sure Mr. Medici owns a 50% share of that. But we get to lay track first. So he's going to do this for one track point. And he could connect to here. And I think he will. I don't see any reason why he needs to wait. So he's going to do this for another track point. And that gives him, in the yellow train phase, it'll give him a $30 boost. So the company is going to get $30. So I'm just holding that in my hand right now. We'll give it to the company after we're done. And here you can see there's a Y City for $30, a Y City for $30. Okay, remember they all have 2 plus 2. So here's 1, 2, and one of the stops includes the token. And by the way, technically speaking, your stop you don't have to stop at a token, but most of the time you do because you can't skip cities. But anyways, 30, 60, 70, 80. So he already made, this one's making $20 more than the Lizard company did. So do you see the difference between a Y City and these crappy ones? And I shouldn't call them crappy, they're just regular cities. But compared to a regular city, this is already more revenue. So he's making $80 for the same exact train. And you may think $20 no big deal, but that is a big deal, especially in the early game. So he just made $80 for Mr. Medici, which I think is going to pay out 40-40. So I'm just going to grab the money here, 25, 35, 40, and then 25, 35, 40. So let's go over to Medici. I apologize, I'm trying not to step on my dog here. Okay, so the only problem with using this is that it's really, I can't put my camera down, so I have to do everything one-handed. But first of all, the $30 goes to SFAI, so we're going to give that to SFAI. And then we do confirm that he only has 50%. So $40 goes to Medici, and then $40 goes to SFAI. Now, if SFAI wants to buy another train, that would cost $225. So, I mean, I can tell you I don't think he has $225, but we're looking at $50, $100, and $20, $30, $40. He has $140. So he's almost $100 short of his goal of having the 3 train. Had we bought one share of this for $90, he would have been able to buy a train. And so looky here at SFR, see he already has $100 because we did buy a share of SFR. So you might see a 3 train get purchased because look, he already has $150. So if he makes that same $40 run, he might be able to do it. So stay tuned. In fact, I think he might be just a few dollars short. That's what's going to be sad. But there's some tricks he can do, and I'll show that to you when we get to his turn. So we might actually see a green train purchased this round, and leave it to Mr. Medici to figure out how to do that. I'm not surprised at all. Okay, so SFAI is done. Now it's our turn with DSJ. So with DSJ, you're going to see how ports work, because we're going to use ports to make a ton of money with DSJ. And I'm going to show that to you right now. So let's just get the camera set up. Okay, so we're here, and we actually have 2 ports with this city. We have this port here, and that is a part of this C zone. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. And then we have this port here, okay, and that puts us in the Baltic Sea, which is that C zone. So we can go through, I'm trying to avoid destroying the track that I already laid as I put this camera down. So we have a lot of C-zones next to us, and this token cancels the -1 penalty. So we can go to any stop along both of these C-zones, and we can do that with a 2 train. So if we look at the Baltic Sea, you can see there's nowhere to go. This would be a really nice city, but there's no track there. There's no track on any of these cities, in fact, and so there's nowhere to go. But the other C-zone, the one I can't pronounce, is valuable, and I'm going to show you right here. We have a port here. It's a public port because it's blue, and this red zone is in the same exact C-zone as where our token is. So without laying any track at all, we can run a 2 train, 1, 2, and make at least 2 cities for our money, and then I have 1, 2 whistle stops that I can add on to it. So our route could be, we start here at this whistle stop, go here, and then we get on the port, take the port to here, and then we end there. So why is this so valuable, and why is DSJ so profitable? It is the red zone here, and I don't know if you can see it real well, but right now that red zone is worth $30, and that's as much as a grand city. So it'll eventually be worth $60 when we get to train level 3, and that's going to be more than a grand city. It's in fact going to be, it's a metropolis. See the M? That means it's a metropolis. It's going to be worth as much as Berlin or London. And so Scandinavia is a very resource-rich place, and the Norwegian coast here is one of the best spots to go to. So we're going to go to this spot with 2 of our companies. DSJ is going to go there. Sorry, I bumped the camera. DSJ is going to go there, and then through this ferry, our L company that's in Scotland is also going to go there. So we're going to capitalize on making money off of that spot a lot. So let's stop. And I do get to lay track. So the thing I need to debate is, do I want to lay track here in this $45 zone? And I just need to look at how much money I have. I don't think I'm going to be able to buy a green train. So I do have 50 bucks, 60 bucks. And my answer is yes, I will do it because I have to do it eventually. It's not a fun thing to do. I do get a 20% discount because of this. So it's a $45, so it would cost me 36. So let's do that now. So put the $50 in and we get what, 14 back? So 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 back for the company. So let's run our train. So, we have to lay our track first. So we paid all that money. Let's get the track laid. So we're going to go through the wetlands there for 1, and then straight up for 2, and then once the green tracks become unlocked, we'll connect in. Okay, so money-wise, there's 10, 20, 30, and 30. So that's all one route. So 30, 60, 70, 80. Now, remember I said if you own multiple trains, you can't reuse track. You can, however, reuse ports. So if I have 2 trains, I can actually go from this port to that port with both trains. So DSJ is going to be more profitable if he has more than 1 train in his possession. And so our goal is we're going to try to get that going as soon as possible. But right now he made 80 bucks, which is good. And if you look at our situation, we have a 50%. So that's 40 and 40. So I'm just grabbing some money off camera, put 40 bucks into DSJ. And then 40 bucks for us. Like so. Sorry, the camera was not focused on it. And DSJ is done. So now we go to SFR. This is the company I was telling you about that Medici has. And it's a real big bummer that DSJ went first. So we would have made a lot more money if a green train was purchased. So let's go see what SFR is going to do. Oh, well, let's lay track and do that first. What am I thinking? So SFR has a situation here where we do have the two Y cities. And so he just needs to connect the two, like so. So there we go. He is now connected. He cannot lay track here because this is France, and he doesn't have rights into France yet. And so he's basically unable to lay more track because you have to be able to lay track somewhere, and he has nowhere to lay it. So he is going to make $30 here and $30 here, so that's 60. That's 70, and if you go across this, there's one more whistle stop for 80. So he will make his $80, which is the best run you can usually get. So he's going to make his 80 bucks, and remember, this -1 here is normally a penalty, but as long as you have a token, it cancels a -1 there or a -1 or that -1. So both of these are the same in terms of game function, even though this is a ferry and this is a sea zone. So this token can cancel one of these or it can cancel one of those. So always be mindful of that -1. If I didn't have this token here, I couldn't go across. But I can go across just fine with the token. So $80 for SFR. And I don't have a big bank on the other side, so I'm grabbing some money on this side because I have so many more tokens over here. Okay. So companies have the right to withhold, meaning that they don't have to pay out their shareholders, but only if you're a major company. These are all regionals, so you have to pay as a regional. And I'm bringing that up because I think we're going to be a few dollars short from buying a train, and we're going to be very angry at ourselves. So here we go. Here's $40 for Medici's personal money, and I've got to make sure it doesn't keep falling over. Okay, and then, oh, no. Taking the $40 back. He owns 3 shares, so he's getting 75%. Oh, that's gonna hurt. His strategy may not pay off. So we do 80 times 0.75 to get, okay, so he's gonna get 60 bucks. So Medici gets $60 to his private money, and then only $20 is going to the company. Because that's what happens when you own more shares. The company only owns 25% of itself. So this is 100, 50, 60, 75. That is not enough to buy a train. Oh my goodness. So let's think about this. If he would have had $20 more, he would have had 195. That's still not enough. The 3 train costs $225, but it has another side to it that you can buy that's a little less powerful. It doesn't collect whistle stops, but you can buy that for $200. So at a minimum, you need at least $200. So here's the good news. He wouldn't have had enough money even if he had 50% of his shares. He would have been $10 short. But with this situation, Medici made more money, and that's the power of having more shares. But now his company is not making as much money. So that's the trade-off. Okay, so it looks like we're not going to get a green train as early as I thought. And so we're going to move on, and I'm peeking over onto the board here, and I know you can't see it, but the next company is WW, which is the Russia company. So I'm going to just stay over here on this side. And there's WW right there. And I apologize for the glare. WW is in the same boat as Lizard. We need to make money this turn. So even though he wants to connect to Berlin or he wants to connect to, Moscow, right now his priority is to make money. So he's going to connect to this city, even if it's not the best city to connect to. And in doing so, he just got paid 20 bucks. So that's good. And I'm going to grab $20 right now, and we're going to give the $20 to WW. All right, so that was 2 of his track points. And then for the third track point, he's going to start moving towards Berlin. And we're going to collect that whistle stop along the way. So that's why he's going to turn. Remember, we're always maximizing whistle stops. Okay, so he's going to get 30, 50, 60. So that's it. He doesn't have a second whistle stop to collect. So that was unfortunate for him, but that's the best run he can do. So $60, it is 50-50. So $30 for Mr. Russia and $30 for WW. Now you may be noticing, this is one of the drawbacks. The Russia strategy is super powerful, but two of his companies have just paid less than everybody else's companies. And that is typical for Russia. Russia was historically a backwards country. And it took a lot to get investment in it before it became powerful. And so that's exactly what's playing out here. And so it will become powerful, but he does suffer from some setbacks, which is exactly what's happening. So WW is done with its turn. And I'm looking over to the next one, and it is A. So I'm trying to stay on this side of the board because I don't want to go to the other side, because A company is right here, Medici. So the A company is here in southern France. And you can see that the track is already laid. And I can also tell you that the WW company was nowhere close to being able to afford a 3 train. In fact, he needs hundreds of dollars. So the A company can't lay any track. So it's 30, 60, 70, 80, and his turn's over. But $80 is really good, so we're going to grab 40 and 40. So $40 for Mr. Medici, who's loving his money. And then I need $40 for the A company, and I'm just reaching over for a 10. And the A company had nothing, and now it has 40 bucks. So definitely no train there. One of the things SFR could have done on his turn is take this 2 train from the M company, and basically the M company, that would be, Medici's basically saying he would pay for a train from his personal stash. And I'm just trying to look at where the M company is. Oh, it's in Italy. He would miss out on some revenue. Obviously, M company wouldn't be able to make money. Right now, the M company is poised to make $80, so that would be $40, $40. He could force a green train to get onto the market, but all it's going to do is benefit everybody else, because by the time the M company goes, actually it'll benefit these two. These two could benefit from it. This is a tough choice. By taking this, and remember, SFR took their turn a while ago, but if I took this train and sold it to, or bought it from SFR bought it from M. When M goes, you're going to make no money. You can lay track, and then you have to buy a train, and it's a forced train purchase. So then Medici would have to pay $225 of this hard-earned money. So let's even see if he would have $225. So there's 75, 85, 95, 100, 25, 35, 45, 55, 65, 75. He doesn't have it. Now you might be thinking, well, what happens if you do a forced train purchase and you don't have the money? Well, you have to start selling shares. So that's not a good idea at this time, because these two companies are not going to run, and Medici is not going to make any more money before it's M's turn. So this is the kind of stuff that when you're playing a multiplayer game and you only have your own companies to worry about, those are the things you should think about. When you're trying to manage all of them at once, those are the things that Goofy Jeff like me forgets to do. But you would have done that analysis and tried to figure out, you know, should I buy this train? And you had to figure out, how much money am I going to have by then? And right now, losing $225 of personal cash is probably not the smartest thing to do. So, long story short, we just spent a lot of time analyzing something and just deciding that's not a good move. So we're not going to do it. So apologies there, but that's what I do. Okay, so A is done, and now we're moving to E. E is, who has E? Oh, E is Russia. So let's move this token. So now it's E's turn, and we're going to go to Russia here. E is in Sevastopol. And apologies for the glare. So let's turn this sideways. Okay, so he does have 3 track points, and we will take advantage of that. So I'm going to reach across the table here for 1, 2, and we got to be mindful of this. So in fact, I gotta pay attention, because remember I told you we're in a situation where we only have that kind of token. So I need to do 1, 2. So it doesn't impact me, but I had to lay different track in order to be able to take advantage of that token. There's no other double whistle stops that we could have used if we went the other way. So now we have a nice path from here to here. In this red zone, I know you probably can't read it. It says $30 for a yellow phase. So 30, 60, 70, 80. It's an $80 run for E. So $40 for E. And E, by the way, had no money. So he just got $40. And then $40 for Mr. Russia, personal money. So that ends his turn. Now we're moving on to Bell. And Bell, I believe, is a De Gaulle company. So we're going to move to the other side of the table. We're probably going to bring a stack of chips with us next time we come back. Okay, Bell has no money at all, as you can see. So he's not buying a train this turn. And we're going to put that here. Bell, just to refresh you, is this company. And so we could try to connect to Lily, but the Lily player went the other way, which is fine. That's pretty typical to get blocked as Bell. But Bell's really not getting blocked. So what Bell's going to do is he's going to put a turn here for 1 track point, and then for his final 2 track points, he's going to lay Paris. And so he will not be blocked. He's going to be the first one to get into Paris, and so he gets to dictate which way Paris is rotated. And remember, you can block people, but he doesn't want to block himself, and everybody else knew that that's what he was going to do, so that's why everybody else prepared to come into Paris at the right angle. So that's some of the preparation you need to do. And so Paris right now is only worth 30. It's the same as a grand city, which you may think, well, geez, that's not real good. But metropolises later in the game become much more valuable than a grand city. So later on, Paris will be worth more. But right now, it's 30, 60, and then 70. Because he had to spend 3 track points to do this. If he would have had 1 more track point, he could have laid this one and had 2 whistle stops. But that's how it works when you're the one laying Paris. So he only had 3 track points. So he gets $70, which is $35 each. So I'm grabbing $35 to give to De Gaulle. And he doesn't have very much money at this point. And then $35 for Bell, because Bell's owned at 50%. And as we shown, Bell had no money at all, so now it finally has $35. So that's the end of Bell's turn. And now we go to J. J is our company, and it's the one that's up here in Russia. So we go up here. And we do want to connect to St. Petersburg, but as we talked about, they made it difficult for us to do. So we're gonna just do a turn for 1. And we want to go through there for $30. We do get a 10% discount, so it would be, I'm sorry, 10%? No, 20% discount. So it would be $24, but Jay only has 20 bucks. So we're stuck. We can't go any further there. So that's one track point. So what we're gonna do is this. We'll go 2, and then 3, so we can connect to Helsinki there. Okay, so and when we connect to Helsinki, we can get some money from that. So now we can do a run here. So we can go start here, we can go here to Finland, and then across to North Sweden, and then down. But unfortunately, there's no more whistle stops. So that is a $30, $60, $70 run. So we're gonna get $35 each. So we were $10 short of the best run so far, but that's how it goes. And so $35 each I will take, and J Company has $55. All right, I'm at 46 minutes. M is next. That is Medici. I'm gonna go ahead and end the video because these shorter videos upload to YouTube quicker. So I will do that, and I'm gonna just keep going. So I'll see you in a few seconds.